Can you imagine a party where every movement from the slightest gesture to walking across the room and every visual detail from furniture to himlang length were governed by a complex system of rules and procedures? For centuries, such rituals were commonplace for European nobility. And while they gone out of fashion, we recognize the components under a familiar label, ballet. Ballet from Italian balletto or little dance. Hello and good day my dear students. I'm Gwen, your teacher for today. So for today's lesson, we will be discussing the history of ballet and so on, together with my co-teachers with a respective discussion. So get ready with your notebook and pen for taking notes and for your reading. So without further ado, let's begin.
Hi, I am Jerica Almarbreeze Componer. I will be discussing about what is ballet. First, I'm gonna explain that ballet is a type of performance that originated during the Italian Renaissance in 15th century. It characterized by the light, graceful, fluid movements and the use of pointed shoes. What is ballet? Ballet is a way of telling a story using music and dance instead of words. Ballet is a dance in which you must show your physical expression and the dancers will develop a powerful feedback loop between mind and body. It consists of patterns of movement which have developed over centuries. After a few centuries, ballet was forming movement of patterns. Dancers who perform ballet are highly trained. Yes, it is important that ballet dancers should undergo in training because they will improve their posture, strength, flexibility, and musicality. Ballet is found all around in the world. Ballet has been influential globally because it used in many dances, genres, and cultures, and ballet has evolved in distinct ways. Ballet is known for theatrical dance in a formal academic dance techniques, and it combines with other artistic elements such as music, costume, and stage scenery.
Good evening everyone, my name is John Kurt B. De Guzman and I am the assigned reporter about the introduction of ballet. A brief history of ballet. Based on my research, scroll through a brief ballet history from each where ballet originated in the 15th century Italian, whereas ang Renaissance course to what ballet dance looks like in the 21st century. Asa jud ba nag-originate ang ballet? Ballet originated in the Italian Renaissance courts of the 15th century. Noblemen and women were treated to the lavish events, especially ang mga wedding celebration, where dira nga nagakuan ang dancing, music created and elaborate spectacles. Dancing masters taught that the steps to the nobility and the courts participated in the performances. Dira nila ginabase ang ilahang kuan critic, naga-critic sila. 1661, a dance academy had opened in the Paris, and in 1681 ballet moved from the court to the stage sa France. Ang mga French kaya sila ang dito facilitate or nagahatag dito nga nagagive sa mga French kung unsa nila paghatag sa kanang ingana nga mga steps or ginaunsa nila pagtudlo. George Balanchine, the choreographer of the New York City Ballet, a Russian who immigrated to America. Ang iyahang gusto is ang ballet. Even further, he introduced what is the known as neoclassical ballet, and also nagakuan siyang expansion on the classical form, and also he considered by many to be a greatest innovation of the contemporary, which is moto siya ang plotless ballet with no defined storylines. Iyahang purpose is to use movements to express the music and to illuminate human emotions and endeavor. Today, ballet is the multifaceted classical form. Nagakuan po siya sa traditional stories and also sa contemporary choreographic innovation, and lastly, to intertwine to the produce the characteristic of modern ballet.
Good day everyone, I am Alain Siniza. So this time we will talk about how ballet began. So when it comes to dancing, there's nothing quite like the style and elegance of ballet. Virtually every other style of dance originates with ballet, and all styles are compared to ballet in one way or another. And when it comes to art, precision and flow, ballet doesn't take a backseat to any other style of dance. 16th century. The court ballets were further developed in France. Les Ballets Comiques de la Reine, or the Queen's Ballet Comedy, is the first ballet for which a complete score has survived and was performed in Paris in 1581. Les Ballets Comiques de la Reine was over 5 hours long and combined dance, special effects, singing, and spoken word. So it was staged by Balthazar de Bourgeois, a violinist and dancing master at the court of Queen Catherine de Medici. And it was danced by aristocratic amateurs in a hall with the royal family on a day. So in a day means low platform. So with the royal family on a low platform at one end and spectators in galleries on 3 sides. So Queen Catherine de Medici assisted with the beginnings of ballet in France. And in 1533, Queen Catherine married the King of France, King Henry II. So she brought with her from Italy a dance master named Balthazar de Bourgeois. So in this picture, it is shown the portrait of the dance master named Balthazar de Bourgeois. So in 1581, Balthazar created the Ballet Comique de la Reine, which means the Queen's Comic Ballet. So it consists with large sets, songs, poetry, and all performed by nobles of the court. So Queen Catherine was known as a significant patron of the arts. Next is the 17th century. So King Louis XIV helped to revive the French interest in ballet by taking part in the ballets performed at his court. He opened the first ballet school in 1661. The school was called Académie Royale de Danse and was designed for dancers to learn how to perform for him. The 5 classic ballet positions were created by Pierre Deschamps sometime around 1670. So in 1681, ballets switched from the courts to the stage with the French opera called Les Triomphes d'Amour. So King Louis XIV continued the French tradition of ballet, and he was also known as the Sun King. It was given to him after his performance in this picture, after his performance in the role of Apollo in the role of Apollo called Ballet de la Nuit in 1653. So in 1661, he established the Académie Royale de Danse. It is a dance academy that aided in the professionalizing of the art of ballet. And Pierre Deschamps is the king's ballet master, and he developed the ballet terminology and technique and created 5 positions for the feet, which will be discussed by my group mates later on. So ballet moved out of the palace into the theater in the year 1681. So the first female dancers to perform professionally in a theater production appeared in 1681 in a ballet called Le Triomphe d'Amour, or the Triumph of Love. So next is in 18th century. So French ballet dancers have been trained professionally start performing in public around 1708. So the Russian Imperial Ballet of St. Petersburg was founded in 1738. Dance costumes continued to be modified until Marie Camargo put on tights and removed the heels from her dance shoes, creating the ballet slipper, which is shown here. This picture is the ballet slipper. And Jean-Georges Lever of France is Jean-Georges Lever was a French dancer and ballet master and is generally considered the creator of ballet d'action. So a precursor of the narrative ballets of the 19th century. So Marie Camargo is the first to wear tights and slippers instead of heeled shoes, and this picture here is the example of the ballet slippers during 18th century. And Jean-Georges Lever is a choreographer who wrote ballet guidelines in the book called Letters on Dancing and Ballet in 1760. And Ballet d'Action, which was created also by Jean-Georges Lever, is a ballet. Ballet d'Action is a ballet which is primarily designed to tell a story. It has all the elements of production like choreography, set design, and costuming, which are subordinate to the plot and theme. And Jean-Georges Lever believed that dance steps and gestures should be used to describe the characters' motives and advance the plot line rather than simply form pleasing patterns. And he also believed that ballets should have logic and be easily understood by the audience and move them emotionally. And lastly, ballet d'action is which means ballet d'action means ballet in motion. So in conclusion, ballet has contributed a lot in the dance industry, and many different countries around the world now have at least one ballet school and company. Several choreographers began crafting ballets with no definitive storyline, allowing the body movement to express the music and translate human emotion. And today, ballet includes both classical forms and traditional stories, as well as contemporary choreography and innovations. So, and it continues to grow without losing sight and its origin. So that's all. Thank you.
A pleasant evening to each and every one of us. For today's discussion, I will be discussing the early professional ballet and the 20th century ballet. What is early professional ballet? Early professional ballet are those ballet dancers who is in the professional ballet company. During that time, all dances were performed by professional dancers, not the kings and also not the courtiers. The dancers were always men. Now my question is, why is it that ballet performs always men during that time? It is because men perform a more extravagant and intricate footwork. In 1681, first female dancers to perform professionally in a theater production named Le Triomphe de l'Amour. Le Triomphe de l'Amour, or The Triumph of Love, is the first ballet to be performed without the diversions of speech or song. And also, it is created as a long-standing opera ballet in France. During 18th century, dancers used masks, wigs, large headdresses, and heeled shoes. It is because of the characters they portrayed and the concealing of their facial expression. So that is 18th century during the time of early professional ballet. Jean-Georges Duvier influenced many choreographers both during and after his lifetime by advising using movement that is natural and easily understood. Toe dancing began to develop around this time. So in this, ballet incorporated mime as well as giving expression to the dance by narrative and histrionic context. So toe dancing began to develop around the time of Jean-Georges Duvier. And now, we are in the 20th century ballet. So what is 20th century ballet? It was born in St. Petersburg from a group of artists who were disenchanted with the art scene in Russia. So later on, we will discuss furthermore what is inside the 20th century ballet. First, let us introduce the person who overturned ballet as an art form. And he is Michael Falconer. His ideas about ballet were overturned and ballet became an important art form. He rejected formal classical ballets like the Sleeping Beauty and the Swan Lake. And he felt that dancing should be a truly medium and not a mere gymnastics. And the time, music, and design should reflect the time and place of the subject. By 1905, a new generation of dancers was in revolt against the conservatism of the imperial ballet. Their new ballet combined movement, music, and design in a fusion that was distinguished in the 20th century ballet. And of course, the subject matter of each ballet dictated the style of the choreography, music, and design. Choreography became more expressive without formal mime movements, and the corps de ballet became an integral part of the ballet instead of the decorative backgrounds. In 1909, Ballet Russe opened in Paris and won immediate success. It is a ballet company begun in Paris, where it transformed the future of ballet in the West by bringing dancers with great traditional training to look at modern forms of music, great movements, and perform together into a cohesive whole. In 1956, Russian ballet companies came to the West to perform and highly influence American ballet from then on. They bring the Russian dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov to be the director of the American Ballet Theater.
Good day, class. I'm Jonilyn Mahomot Bagid. Today, I will be discussing the classical and romantic ballet. So, classical ballet is developed in the late 19th century when Marius Petipa was ballet master in St. Petersburg. Classical ballet is a mixture of French style of romantic ballet. The techniques developed in Italy in the late 19th century and Russian teaching. Ballet created later part of the 19th century such as Swan Lake, The Nutcracker, and Sleeping Beauty. So in the 19th century, female ballet dancers were more popular. Ballerinas played more roles in the story. Vienna became an important center for teaching ballet. Ballet moved away from just aristocratic audience. So ballet important in the 19th century. This movement influenced art, music, and ballet. It was concerned with the supernatural world of spirits and magic, and also often showed women as passive and fragile. These themes are reflected in the ballet of time and are called romantic ballet. So important advances in ballet techniques were made in the 19th century during the classical period. Classical is aerial work, pointy work, turns and leg beats advanced and we were more common. So the tutu was developed so the dancer movement can be more easily seen. So the person who created the Nutcracker, Swan Lake, and Sleeping Beauty is Tchaikovsky. Compositions include three full-length, Ballet, Swan Lake, the Sleeping Beauty, and the Nutcracker. So when was Swan Lake created? Legend has it that in 1871, Tchaikovsky composed a children's ballet pantomime, The Lake of the Swan, for his young nephews and nieces. The ballet score was essentially completed in 1876, although Tchaikovsky was to add a few pieces later. Swan Lake was first performed on March 4, 1877 at Moscow Bolshoi Theater. And Swan Lake and Nutcracker the same, composed by Tchaikovsky. Swan Lake premiered in 1877 and it's one of the most beautiful ballet scores. The company will be performing the Nutcracker for the first time in Israel. So the Nutcracker, which premiered in 1892, is one of the most inviting and enticing of all ages. So this is the story of the ballet Sleeping Beauty based on. The story of Sleeping Beauty is based on a fairy tale called The Beauty Sleeping in the Woods by Charles Perrault, published in 1697, but the story inspired Perrault had actually been around since the 14th century. So the story of Nutcracker is loosely based on the ETA Hoffman fantasy story The Nutcracker and the Mouse King, about a girl who befriends a nutcracker that comes to life on Christmas Eve and wages a battle against the evil Mouse King. And always remember that Swan Lake first performed is 1877, The Sleeping Beauty is 1890, and The Nutcracker is 1892. And their main was the display the techniques of ballet to its fullest. So what technique is used for ballet? Pointy technique is part of ballet technique concerned with dancing on the tips of fully extended feet. The core techniques of ballet are common throughout the world, though there are minor variations among the different styles of ballet. Who invented ballet technique? Catherine de Medici. The history of ballet begins around 1500 in Italy. Terms like ballet and ball stem from the Italian word ballare, which means to dance. When Catherine de Medici of Italy married the French king Henry II, she introduced early dance styles into court life in France. So how many ballet movements are there? Ballet is often regarded as the most precise and difficult dance form in Western culture. Though ballet includes hundreds of specific steps, the technique is based upon 7 fundamental movements of the body. So what are the positions of ballet? In ballet, there are 5 main positions of the feet. First feet, second feet, third, fourth, and fifth. All 5 positions of the feet in ballet use turnout. So turnout is rotations of the entire leg coming from the hip joint. So what are the 7 movements in ballet? Novari analyzed ballet movement into 7 basic categories. These are known as the 7 movements in dancing. These are plier means to bend, intendre means to stretch, reliever means to rise, sauter means to jump, turner means to turn, glider means to glide, and lancer means to dart. So the hardest dance move is in pointy. So the in pointy technique is a classical ballet is one of the most challenging to execute. In this move, a dancer has to support their entire body weight on their feet, which are fully extended. So next, this ballet have complicated sequences of movement to show off demanding steps, leaps, and turns to fit the history. So choreographers created complicated sequences to show off demanding steps, leaps, and turns throughout the story. Short of step, classical tutus were also introduced at this time. All purpose was to reveal a ballerina's legs and the difficulty of her footwork and movements. So the purpose and the proper sequence of ballet dance class is consists of several segments, usually barre, center, adagio, allegro, and reverence. The components of a basic ballet class are usually consistent throughout most of the world. So, do ballet have movements? Of course, ballet movement in classical ballet, any of the formalized actions of a dancer that follow specific rules regarding the positions of the arm. So ballet choreography is based on combinations of this fundamental movement. So why are leaps important in dance? Leaps are one of the greatest thrills in dance. Professional dancers appear to defy gravity as a sword through the air. Some people seem to have a natural ability for jumping, whereas some have to work at a little harder. Most leaps in dance require tremendous strength and coordination to execute correctly. So this is the types of leaps: backwards hook jump, butterfly jump, turning C jump, turning deer jump, back leap, firebird leap, switch front leap, switch arabesque Arabesque leap, and this is the types of turns: attitude, axel, barrel roll, chains, illusions, peak, and pirouette. So the romantic ballet is defined primarily by an era in ballet which an ideas of romanticism is an art and literature influenced the creations of ballet. Early ballet such as Giselle and La Salfide were created during the romantic movement on the first of the 19th century. So early classical ballets such as Giselle and La Salfide were created during the romantic movement in the first half of 19th century. This movement influenced art, music, and ballet. So it was concerned with the supernatural magic spirits. So what are ballets of romantic period about? The romantic ballet is a genre of ballet that evolved in the early 19th century as a reaction against the classicism that dominated 18th century art, literature. Ballet domains of the early 19th century were born with stories about ancient gods and goddesses, plots based on myths and ancient costumes. So ballet invented in the romantic period began in the early 19th century and reflected the romantic ideas of art and literatures of the time. So following the classical period, ballet became marriage of dynamic technique and dramatic storytelling. This was the birth of the story ballet. So how classical ballet different from romantic ballet? Romantic ballet was simply a period of time within a classical ballet. Nothing really changed, but the length of the tutus. Romantic ballet and classical ballet still revolve around all the same technique using turn out, the feet positions, and etc. Go back to Giselle. The story behind Giselle, the Ghost-Filled Ballet, tells the tragic romantic story of a beautiful young peasant girl who falls for the flirtations of the deceitful and disguised nobleman Albert. When the ruse is revealed, the fragile Giselle dies of heartbreak, and Albert must face the otherworldly consequences of his careless seduction. So how does Giselle save Albert? So by dancing with Albert, Giselle attempts to prolong his ability to survive. They dance together as an expression of their love, just as it seems Albert will dance himself to his grave. The first beams of the morning sun appear, Albert is saved. This ballet involved the supernatural world of spirit and magic. So what is the story of Giselle Ballet? The story of Giselle is a romantic tale of innocent love and betrayal of philandering Count Albert and a trusting peasant maid. Giselle, although she has a weak heart, Giselle loves to dance. Her beauty has enchanted Albert. So the function of spiritual dance forms is liturgical dance, whether traditional such as Hindu temple dance or contemporary, enhances religious stories, meaning and symbols with gestures and movement. Conscious dance is movement is done for the purpose of self-expressions, meditation, and connection. So the benefits of dancing is in spiritual is benefits of dancing in 202. Dancing is a great stress buster, helps in keeping us fit, give us a healthy heart, tones our muscles, makes our body flexible, and makes us positive in life. So in this safe space, you are able to get to let go and express emotions and otherwise may not be easily conveyed through words. So it means to see yourself dancing in a gym. So as I mentioned above, dance is an expression of happiness, joy, freedom, and liberation. When you see yourself dancing in a dream, it means that you are expressing yourself to the fullest. For some reason, you feel restrained in real life. You may want to express yourself in some way or so if often show woman as passive and fragile. So what is passive femininity? So passive femininity, where women and girls accept traditional ideas about how they should behave, being quiet, demure, and submissive. And what makes a woman more feminine? So traits as are nurturance, sensitivity, supportiveness, gentleness, warmth, passivity, cooperativeness, expressiveness, modesty, humility, empathy, affection, tenderness, and being emotional, kind, helpful, devoted, and understanding have been cited as stereotypically feminine. So female character portrait. Women are always portrayed as weak, emotional, and neurotic, while men are expected to be strong, aggressive, and dominant, which are depicted from both their external appearances and internal qualities. The gender of author also contributes the different descriptions of the character in literary works. So what is the true femininity? So the essence of true femininity is beingness of it coexists with the nature of true masculinity, which is actions. The descriptions of true signifies that masculine and feminine qualities and roles are interconnected and dependent first and foremost with each individual. So why it is important to consider gender relations and responding. So applying a relational and intersectional understanding of a gender to conflict analysis permits important insight into its social, psychosocial, and cultural, as well as political and economic dimension to be incorporated into peace building strategies and practice. So what are the benefits of gender inequality? Gender inequality makes our community safer and healthier. Inequality societies are less cohesive. They have higher rates of antisocial behavior and violence. Countries with greater gender equality are more connected. Their people and are healthier and have better well-being. End of our discussions for today. So class, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye!
Hi everyone, welcome to my class. Today we will tackle about modern ballet and modern dance. I'm Sam and let me help you to learn about modern dance. Modern ballet is a dance that requires wider spaces to create movements with focusing on their styles, like expression through dancing, postures of the body to make the audience feel the story of the dance as well. And also, modern dance, often referred to as contemporary dance. One of the examples of modern dance is the contemporary dance. Because, as you can see, the modern dance and contemporary dance incorporates the individualistic and diverse form of the artistic expression to support the formalism and stability of the dance, which is also a part of benefits in modern ballet dance. Actually, ballet began in Italy. It was originated and formalized in Italy in the 17th century. Ballet dancers around the world learn that communicate with these words be part of the ballet vocabulary. Let us know what are these words. A leading female dancer with great dancing skills called ballerina. Mostly, they focus on the harder part of position of the dance, which is foot. Next is chaîné. This is where the dancers should turn tight and fast, using their both feet and both arms. As they turn, they have to maintain the perfect circle turn. This is from the Italian century called entrechat. Was a vertical jump, which is the dancer should repeat it while using their crosses feet. Next is porte bras. This kind of dance use the arm movements to use in any various kinds of position. And lastly, pirouette, an act of spinning on one foot and the right toe should raise and point to our left knee. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shaira Sanchez Seguinov and my topic is all about ballet vocabulary you already know.
First word is plié. Do you have any idea what is plié? So plié is a knee bend in ballet and it is used in jumps and turns to provide spring, absorb shock, and as an exercise to loosen muscles and develop balance. So why is plié important in ballet? Doing a plié helps condition and stretch your muscles and tendons. It can also help the muscles to become soft and pliable. A proper plié can help prevent a lot of injuries because of the spring-like motion in your legs that helps absorb impact when you land from jumps. So a way to improve your plié is by always stretching, and it is easier to go deeper into your plié and make sure to never keep your weight in your heels and always keep your toes down on each side. And always remember that turnout is always a key thing to your plie. So second word is relief, or in a French term, meaning raised up. It is one of the basic ballet moves, and the dancer starts in a demi-plie and then rises up into demi-point or end point, either one foot or both feet. So what is the purpose of relief? Relief is a step that builds a lot of strength in a dancer's feet, calves, and thighs, that allowing him or her to do many types of jumps and thrusts. This is why some ballet classes will have a combination of pare or center that has the dancers doing a long series of reliefs on one or two legs. Next word is chain or chain turn. It is when a dancer is performing a series of turns on both feet, picking up each foot back and forth in order to keep moving in a line or circle. It could easily be considered one of the most basic turning steps or exercises because chain or chain turn don't rely on balancing on one leg. Next is battement or beating. In ballet, it is an extension of leg to the front, side, or back, or either repeatedly or as a single movement. So what is the purpose of grand battement in ballet? The function of grand battement is to loosen the hip joint and turn out the legs from the hips and allowing a dancer to jump higher when we perform correctly. Next word is turnout. So turnout is the rotation of the leg at the hips, which causes the feet and knees to turn outward away from the front of the body. So this rotation allows for greater extension of the leg, especially when raising it to the side and rear. Turnout is an essential part of classical ballet technique. So how does turnout work in ballet? You will know when you're forcing your turnout when you see the arch rolling inward or the knees being farther forward than your toes. Try to avoid pushing your feet back to 180-degree angle. Instead, start in parallel and rotate from the top of the leg as far as you can while allowing the last word is jeté. Jeté is a ballet leap in which the weight of the dancer is transferred from one foot to other. The dancer throws one leg to the front, side, or back and holds the other leg in any desired position upon landing. And did you know that jeté is one of the hardest jump in ballet? So grand jeté is one of the most challenging jumps to perform and requires the dancer to continuously stretch to obtain flexibility. A skilled ballet dancer will gracefully propel themselves into the air and appear to do the splits while hovering above the ground for a moment.
Good evening, everyone. So I am the next reporter and my topic is all about bear exercises and position of feet. So now let us know what are ballet bear workouts. Dance as a workout is nothing new. It's something that has been around for a while. But bear workouts are a fairly recent way to get those muscles working. It's time to run to your nearest bear for the fairly recent workout craze that is shaking the fitness world up in the most graceful way that only ballerinas could. Bear pronounced as boar. In our best French accent is a fitness challenge with a dancer's twist. So my question now is, do you want a ballerina's body? Try a ballet bear exercise and you could be getting one sooner than you think. In today's post, we will be helping you achieve your goals by showing you some of the best ballet bear exercises that won't take you up too much of your time, the best bear workout clothes, and just how you can improve your technique. Ballet bear combinations, bear workout clothes, bear workout do and don'ts can just cause confusion, even of the best of us. What should I be doing? How can I improve? What should I wear? Does that all important? Question is, a bear workout worth it? Stay with us because we're even going to gift you with a 30-minute bear exercise that you can do anywhere. And if you're trained dancer, then we have a few bear combinations for you too. Results. First, we have face the bear with your feet facing forward, shoulder width apart. Place your hands lightly on the bear. Second is tuck and hold for 5 seconds. Raise onto demi-point. And demi-point, tuck and hold for 5 seconds. Lower back down. Repeat it for 20 reps. In ballet, there are 5 main positions of the feet. The first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. All 5 positions of the feet in ballet use turnout. Turnout is a rotation of the entire leg coming from the hip joint. The femur head rotates in the hip socket and is controlled by your glutes maximus, or glutes for shorts, and deep outward rotators. Turnout never comes from the feet or knee, as this puts great pressure and stress on the joints. Additional pressure is placed on your knees and feet from forcing your feet into a flatter turnout than you can control. A good way to test your turnout is to perform a demi-plie, or a bend of the knees. In each of the 5 positions, when you bend, if your knee is directly over your middle toes, then you have the correct amount of turnout for you. If your knees are pushing forward, it means that your feet are turned out too much. Remember that turnout can always be improved, but speak with your teacher about specialist exercises to improve this safely and effectively. So this is the first position in ballet. With an outward rotation from the hips, the heels are touching and toes are facing outwards. The amount of natural rotations in your hip socket and your control of this turnout will affect the look of your first position. This can range from the feet forming a V shape to the feet being in a flat line. In second position, the feet are as wide apart as the shoulders, with the legs once again being outwardly rotated from the hips. The feet should match each other. Be careful that you don't have one foot further forward than the other or one foot more turned out the other. Feet in third position is often considered a training position. For fifth position, once a student reaches a certain standard of standing, third position is rarely used. With both legs rotating from the hips, the heel of the front foot meets the middle of the back foot. The turnout on both feet should be equal. Third position can be taken with either the right leg or left leg in front. For the fourth position is a little unusual as it's split into 2 separate positions. Fourth open, fourth over T, and fourth cross. Fourth open is used much frequently than fourth cross, but it is still necessary to be aware of this position. Feet in fourth open have the space of approximately 1 foot length between them. It is useful to know that fourth is open is sometimes referred to as fourth opposite first. This is because the heel of the front foot is not directly in front of the other foot. It is instead opposite where that foot would be if it were in first position.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gwendolyn Islanca. So we are now in the benefits of ballet. So we have top 4 benefits of ballet. So when we talk about ballet, it is a holistic approach to lifelong wellness for children and adults alike. For simplicity purposes, let's focus here on the kids. So when it comes to after-school activities, children these days have more options than ever before. So why should you make time for ballet? So many people think you take ballet classes only to become a ballerina. So it's not true because ballet is one of the few activities that can be both multiple health benefit all in one. So everything you do can be improved through ballet. So here's a list of 4 core benefits of ballet, but truthfully, the list is endless. So the first benefits is the physical coordination, grace, and posture. So we all know kids have to move and burn a lot of energy, but how they do this make a difference. So the core principle of ballet focuses on balance, coordination, strength, and poise. So every exercise and step builds on this, creating a strong and capable dancer. So to be able to dance properly, you must have a good posture and a strong core. So these two things that have been proven to benefit in overall health. So when your child is dancing, they are doing a complex set of physical actions, moving different parts of their body in opposing directions, so coordinating their movement to music while simultaneously stretching and controlling their muscles. So the result is long, strong muscles that can move with intention and coordination. So the physical benefits are so good because even football players use ballet in their training to avoid injury and keep their body flexible. So we are now in the second benefit, which is the mental strength and focus. So with all those physical demands of ballet, imagine how much work your brain is doing. So while children are working hard to coordinate their feet to skip, so it is about a skill that takes a lot more practice than you will think. So their brains are constantly building new neutral pathways to make all of this happen, which increases neuroplasticity. So when we talk about neuroplasticity, it improves learning, memory, and comprehension. So additionally, it takes discipline and focus to be able to master ballet. So ballet students learn to appreciate the time it takes to master a skill. So not everything has to be instant gratification, and that is a valuable lesson in today's world. So the earlier a child starts to ballet, the longer they have to perfect and develop this focus. So ballet dance has been reported to increase cognitive function, improve memory, and increase focus. So this is because your left and right brain is working together to learn moves in a creative environment. So the third benefits is build social skills. So children are around other kids most of the day, but in a ballet class, the dynamic is unique. Ballet itself creates a special camaraderie between students. So one of the best things I noticed in class of ballet is a student helping another to learn a step. So the student teaching feels empowered to help, and the student learning feels acceptance from his or her peers. So listening to one another, accepting someone else's creative ideas, and being encouraged to develop their own ideas through movement is a unique part of ballet classes. So according to Sir Ken Robinson's that many forms of dance are inherently social, so they involve moving together in synchrony and empathy with direct physical contact. So in an evaluation of dancing classrooms in New York City, 95% of teachers said that as a result of dancing together, there was a demonstrable improvement in students' abilities to cooperate and collaborate. So that was based on Sir Ken Robinson's perception.
Another benefits of ballet is it instills confidence. So dancing promotes a general sense of well-being in students. So as they master new skills, perform in front of others and receive positive reinforcement. So their confidence reaches new levels and self-confidence. Students believe in their abilities, so get along well with others and are better equipped to handle challenging situations. So, performing on stage before an audience is no small task. So, some kids live for thrill of performance. Others are incredibly nervous. So, the confidence to overcome those fears is built throughout the year in ballet class. So practice and more practice. So it is a wonderful experience to see a child or a students who came into the class quiet and nervous and finish the year on the stage full of excitement and energy. So even if the performance is less than perfect, so students learn to appreciate their success and learn from their mistakes. So all kids feel great after performing, so their pride in their hard work is palpable and they will take that experience with them for years to come. So let's recap the benefits of ballet. So we have the top 4 benefits. First is the physical coordination, grace and posture. Second is the mental strength and focus. Third is builds social skills. And lastly is instills confidence. So we have a lot of benefits in ballet, but now we are just discussing and focusing on the top 4 benefits. So that's the end of my report for this evening. Thank you for listening.